Again, the theater mode. Okay, so let's see. We go to here, friends. We'll slide all the way down. Long friends list here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Should be right about here. Okay, now hopefully this loads up a little fast. I'm not a fucking glitched account. Why this shit don't load? What's going on here? You got a hacked account, sir? If I see any 5KD shit going on here, I know something funny is going on. I don't know why this thing's not loading. According to this guy is a level 1 noob. Just started fresh out the box. Oh, look at that. Look at this. Alright, let's go straight to showcase. I can't even mess with this. Next thing you know, it don't work. Alright, let's see. Recent games. Come on, COD. Come on. Let's stop playing around. Alright, here we go. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll pick a random gameplay. Let's pick Breach. Since I happen to like Breach. I'm gonna pick that one. Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. Family is the first subscription you start off with, and you start to build up from there. Okay, so boom. Okay, so we're going to be analyzing Mr. Laser Wolf's gameplay here, and we're going to attempt to be as objective as possible, because always remember, no matter how good you get, there's always room for some improvement, myself included, and that's pretty much goes for anybody. So whenever I encourage everyone that, you know, if you really are serious about getting better, that you have to sometimes, as you're going through your matches, really consider the decisions that you're making. You know, even things like, for example, even getting upset. If something happens and you get upset and says, oh, you know, it's the lag or whatever, you know, no matter how you get upset, it is what it is. You know, you getting upset is not going to change the outcome of whether somebody's lagging. That's not going to do anything. But however, what it will do, it will affect your decision making. And make no mistake that there are a lot of people who are a low level person who they have good aim and they have pretty good gun skill. But what separates the top level players is their ability to think about what they're doing in any given situation. Gun skill is important, but thinking about what you're doing is very, very, very important too as well. Otherwise, you know, you're always going to be that 1 KD player. So over here, okay, well, first of all, I see he's got a Marshals, which I don't even know what's going on with that, but all right, so he's got a Marshals. He leaps out here. I mean, this is a bad situation right here, because First of all, what you gotta do is whenever you're using something, not to say you should not use the Marshals, but you have to think about the environment for the tool. Because remember, weapons are a tool. The Marshals are a very close range weapon, you know? So when you're traveling outside the map, you put yourself at a potential risk. Now, you can take that risk. I'm not saying to take a risk or not to take a risk. I'm simply showing you what should be going through your mind. Once you take a weapon like that and you know the range is so limited, and at the same time you know if you miss, the punishment is severe if you miss in the middle of a gunfight, and then you look at you're on a map like Breach, which has very long lanes. If you run into someone, there's a good chance, especially on the outside, you'll be at a disadvantage. So when you use something like that, you want to be in tight areas, close quarters. So now, okay, we go over here. Comes up to here, which is fine. Okay, it puts a C4. Now it comes out here. Now, once again, that right there is another thing to be concerned about. Because once again, if you would have popped out and turned that corner, and there would have been somebody, which is common, okay? It's common for people to come there and aim, because that's an easy way. I do that all the time. I come out this corner, I'll pre-aim, I'll see what the people on top are doing, and if they're not paying attention, I'll fly right up there and destroy them easily. So that's something to pay attention for. And with the Marshals, you would have no chance. But okay, you fly out here. Now on the mini-map, some teammate just got into a gun battle, so they clean them up. Okay, so now here's a smart decision making here. You don't approach the door directly, because if you did approach the door directly, that could have been death. Now over there, boom. How did you just get killed? And I'm going to tell you exactly how. You was not alert to what the audio that was going on around you. Like you see, for example, let's pay attention here. I'm going to fast forward this. Okay, now you come out here, go to the door, which is fine. Now, boom, here's where things start going wrong, right? Now, it is a common thing for people who are traveling over here to use that green wrap as a wall run. Whatever that is, tarp or whatever the hell it is. They use that green wall as a wall. I do that frequently. I will wall run off of that green tarp and jump up in the air to catch enemies off guard. Especially enemies who just so happen to be turning the corner. And it's extremely effective. And as you can see, it's exactly what happened to you. As you were progressing, you went like this. This guy, now if you just heard the sound of the 2 boost jumps. He basically boost jumped to the wall run at the same time while you slid into this corner. What you should have done is, as you were approaching, you approach middle of the lane, or you yourself should have been wall running. You understand? So that you would have been able to get the drop on somebody who was coming around the corner. And in this case, if you had been wall running on the right, you would have ran into the guy who was wall running, and you would have easily beat him because you have marshals. Marshals would have been an instant kill right there. But instead, you went the low road. Remember, even in war, they teach you that whoever has the high ground usually will win. That's the reason why boost jumping is so effective in this game. Because if you jump over someone's head, it's very hard for them to beat you in that type of scenario. So you chose the low ground, he chose the high ground, and look at the result. Boom, destruction. Cleaned you up. And that was that guy, Danger. And then Mance Ray to clean them up there. Okay, so now you start back off. You got your marshals again. I mean, I don't understand what the hell you're doing with these marshals. I don't understand what was your mission. Now, boom, look at that right there. Once again, you cross over there, a common wall run area. The guy, you could clearly hear the guy running across that wall. And as he was crossing that wall, now you have the marshals, which again are very unforgiving. You got to remember that if you use a weapon like the marshals, and again, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but you got to analyze the situation. You want to be sure that when you pull that trigger, that's going to be a kill. Because if not, look at the scenario. You're riding on 22s. You're riding on zeros right now. And now that guy, he jumped behind you. Now, hopefully the teammate who's behind you will clean him up. And the teammate did, which is good. So that teammate had you right there. Okay, so now you reload. You come out here. Yeah, that's good. Now you got a skull straight ahead, but you got 2 teammates in front of you, which is good. Okay, now you're inside the house. Alright, now I'm sure we got the teammate upstairs in the room up there, so there's no reason for you to have checked it. Nobody died or anything. Okay, so you're still running on the outside of that map, which is a bit dangerous. And then boom, okay, you got him. That's nice. And then another thing too, if you notice that you're not using your C4. You got the C4, now look, that lady ran, right? But she was not alone. There was somebody else who's currently boost jumping behind you. Now let's see what happens. Now you go, now look at this. Now you rush into the center of the map because you're so hungry for that kill. That's another major mistake. In this game, you have to choose your battles. You have to know when to run and when to engage and pursue someone. This person foolishly chose to run down the middle of the map in a tight map like Breach. That's death. And clearly, look what happens. They're getting shot right off the bat, right? We got a bunch of teammates shooting them. Now here you are. Now you're chasing this person towards the center of the map. And you're chasing them. Look to which side you are chasing them. To the enemy side of the map. Now you come around here. Boom. You get that kill, right? Now you try to kill that person here. Now you're in the center here. Now you got to rush and push. Now you're pushing to the enemy side. Come over here. Flash. C4. Destroyed. See, now that right there. Now, let's say, for example, in that particular scenario, the reason why you died is because you were facing the enemies direct. Another thing always to keep in mind is whenever you're engaging a gunfight, you always want to try your best to get people from angles, like from the side. If you approach a gunfight from directly in front of an enemy, you have no advantage. The advantage is equal because you are both equally facing each other. This is not a game where you want to give people a fair fight. The fight should be as unfair. You give yourself as much advantage as possible over whoever you're playing against. So now you come over here again with these marshals. Now look, somebody boost jump to your left. I heard that right away. Boom, clean them up. Instant destruction. Good. Boost over here. So far, so good. My people are coming here. I believe somebody just ran past you right there, which they did. And your teammate tried to chase after them. Yeah. Boom. Boom. Clean them up. Ah, and that heat wave didn't go good. But that was a good shot. But those are just sometimes... And again, that's just one of those moments where, unfortunately, I had heat wave. There's really nothing you can do about that. And that happened. Now, boom. We clean this person up. Let's see if we get the next person. Oh, miss. Boom. Beautiful. See, now that's very calm. That's good work right there. That's being very calm. And again, you see in that tight environment, they're at a disadvantage. You get what I'm saying? According to you, because that's a tight space. So where they have to be 100% perfect with their shots, in the tight environment, you have more freedom with those shots, especially for a weapon like that, because you just got to basically aim in their general direction and they'll die. Now here you pop up here. Rush into the house. Now the only thing with this, right, was my thought process here is, if you look at the mini map again, notice that a bunch of your teammates just exited the building, right? And then if you turn around, you will also notice that you've got two teammates to your right who also just exited from the building area. This should lead you to analyze the mini map and say, hey, you know something, there probably will be no enemies here. The reason why this is important is because of the fact that this is why some people, despite, even though they do well in a game, like say for example, they'll go positive, but they end up not having many kills just because of the fact that they keep heading the wrong direction while they're in the middle of a match. So these guys will, sometimes they'll end up with kills that are a decent amount, but then sometimes they end up with only like 10 kills. Even though they didn't do bad, they didn't go negative, but they're just heading in the wrong direction. Now you come out here, and anyway, you got shot, so you kept pushing forward, which is the right thing to do. Don't turn around and try to challenge anything, especially if you got marshals. But it wouldn't matter with any gun. You'll try to get yourself to a superior position. So now you're pushing here. And now what you'll notice is as you're pushing this side, your whole team's ahead of you right now. So what's most likely going to happen is probably spawns might end up flipping and a bunch of the enemies will be behind you, making you have ran to the other side of the map almost for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to waste a lot of time. Now, that's not to say there won't be anyone on the other side, but usually you want to go to where most of the enemies are to try to build up as many kills as possible. Over here, you push it here, and as you notice, look right there, you notice that your teammates are now spawning on this side of the map, which decreases the chance of enemies being here even more. And if you look all the way to the left of your mini-map, you notice one of your teammates already crossed over to the very left lane of the map, which again enforces my point that there's nobody over here for you to kill, because you're kind of running behind your teammates. Had I been you, as I noticed that happen on the minimap, I would have turned around and went the opposite direction where I just came from, because I know they're going to start spawning there now. Good knock. Somebody just boost up. Boom. Destroyed. That right there would have been another easy kill once again, but it's just about the hearing. Now that's another thing too. It doesn't seem as if you're having an inability to have to be able to hear what's going on with these guys. Now I don't know if you're using awareness or not, but that could be due to not using awareness. And don't let whatever anybody tell you. Awareness is one of the best perks in the entire game. And again, you don't need great headphones. Any headphones will let awareness help you in those situations. Okay, so here we go again. Pushing down. And you're not doing too bad, you know, for the fact that you're the marshal. It's just some of the decisions. Like you see this right here, you just rushed out there once again. You didn't take your time to check the area to see what was going on. And especially, like I said, think about the weapon that you're using. Look at this. Just rush blindly down the middle of the map. That's dangerous too as well. Boom. Destroy. And you see what I'm saying? You rush like that, fast like that to the middle of the map because you're not taking a moment to just think about what you're doing. That's the problem. See, now here you did good. You reverse your movement, which is nice. based on the situation. But that right there was not good, because what you did now is you did an air jump, and again, not really for any real reason. And if you notice that the direction that you were facing is actually opposite of probably where most of the enemies are at. Most of the enemies are probably to your right hand side. And now look, right here, you're trying to chase. And I said this before, don't try to chase people. Once you have an opportunity to kill, if the opportunity slips through your finger, don't think, oh my God, I gotta get that kill. No, because you could potentially be chasing someone into a situation that will now put you at a disadvantage, and you don't want that, especially when chasing someone to the mini-map. I mean, to the middle of the map. Get out here. You touch to a barrel, which is good, and that's a nice hip fire too. Very important. Para has excellent hip fire, so there's nothing wrong with using that. Okay, that's a nice grenade use. Now here, that right here, I don't understand what just happened here. To me, it would have seemed, again, that when you were at that building, there's a good chance enemies would spawn there. Now, maybe because you thought because you threw the grenade that there wouldn't be. But remember, no matter what you think is happening, watch your mini-map. The mini-map tells you everything, you know? Look, for example, right now, the mini-map's got your whole team further down the other side of the map. And then, for example, you are heading in the direction of where your team are. If anything, you should be heading in the opposite direction of your team if you're looking to build up kills and be a slayer. You want to look for where the enemy are so you can hunt them down and destroy them, but you left that spot. Now let's see what happens, you know? So now you got a guy, and boom, instant heat wave. Now keep in mind, right, now, of course you could say, okay, that's what I love, but remember, had you not gone that way, you wouldn't even have dealt with the guy with the heat wave. That would have gotten picked up from your other teammate. But you know, that is what it is. Sometimes you just run into people with heat waves. Not much you could do. Okay. Okay, so you got your teammate gonna jump up here. Okay, good. Back off. Pretty fast. Boom. Destroyed. Now somebody's right behind you there. Okay, good. Very nice. Okay, so, I mean, that one was just unfortunate because you happen to be reloading when that guy pushed out. So that's just unfortunate. Sometimes some situations are just unfortunate, you know? There are things that you could... Now, that's very good right there. You pre-aimed as you're jumping that wall. That's very good. Okay, now here is where things are getting interesting right here. You see? Now, that's actually, even though that did not go through, but it was actually not bad in terms of sometimes you have to just be aggressive. Like, you're in a situation where your life is low like that. The enemy, when they see that you're hurt, they smell blood, they're going to attack you no matter what. And this is a game where it only takes a fraction of a second to destroy someone, you know? So a lot of people who you see playing, they want to rip their hair out. Arnold will take it. This guy will take it, you know? So, man, I think I went off on a tangent there. Okay. Alright, but case, very good pre-aim. I like it. Very good pre-aim. I'm watching the map. Now that one there, I don't know if you should have thrown that grenade while you run down the center of the map. Because you notice that the grenade doesn't have much effect. You see, I don't... And that's just a hive, you see? I don't find grenades to be a consistent tool, you know? Again, if I'm going to use something, I want it to be something that's going to work most of the time. I understand why grenades are used on things like domination, because you know where the enemies are going to be. You know they're going to be at a certain location. But in a mode like where there's no real exact objective except just to kill each other, like a kill mode, there's not much point for you to... Okay, very good. Yeah, there's not much point to be using these sorts of things if you can't predict what direction the enemy is going to come from. And you see here you finished 16-10. Not a bad match at all considering that you're using marshals, but it could have been a lot better once you just analyze this type of situations that you're in. If anything, I think that what you should do, in my opinion, is you need to slow down. You need to slow down with the super aggressive rushing. I noticed that you rush very, very hard, and sometimes it's what ends up getting you killed. And remember, Call of Duty and all these type of well, not all these type, but specifically Call of Duty franchise is a lot about score streaks. Whatever team starts dropping score streaks, that's the team that's gonna end up winning. So when you start to build your streaks, you don't want to just die for some ridiculous reason. You have to keep that in mind. You want to build those streaks. So sometimes you're gonna lose streaks and you shouldn't get upset about it, but you want to lose it for a legitimate reason, not because you did something that was just obviously you could avoid. So you gotta slow down a bit. Look at these situations a little bit more carefully. And another thing too is your movement. Sometimes I notice you like to do a lot of quick, fast movement, and you have to be careful too when using movement for no reason. Because sometimes just at the moment that you decide to bust a quick move or do a quick movement, something will happen in the house, and then you may get distracted. Sorry, something happened in the house. So you may be doing some sort of a fast movement, and you may not be paying attention to everything that's happening. I hope that makes sense. Just kind of drifting off for there for a moment. Alright, so that's it right there. Man, those analyzing those gameplays. Oh man, that takes a while, especially when you go in depth. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a gameplay, which I think will be helpful. I'm gonna run a match, and I'm gonna be very slow in the match, and I'm gonna attempt to do a good match here, but to try to explain what I'm thinking about as I'm going through the match, to see if that will be able to help you guys to kind of understand what my mentality is when I'm playing through a match, okay? Give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to make a quick class setup, okay? And the basic point of this is just to give you kind of idea when you're making a class setup, so that you can make your own class setups for you to kind of think about what you're doing, okay? So what you do here is you pick a weapon that's fairly balanced. You want to pick a weapon that doesn't have a huge amount of skill to use. Now, I like machine gun, so we'll start off with the machine gun category. And whenever you're building up attachments for a weapon, you kind of ask yourself, what is it that you're trying to do when you go to the battlefield, okay? So we'll take something like the Razorback. Razorback is definitely not one of the fastest kill weapons, but the beauty of the Razorback is its balance. It is a very balanced weapon. You can kill from close or far, and a lot of times the reason why you'll kill somebody who has a faster killing weapon is because they may not be able to control their weapon even though it is faster, if that makes sense, which will actually help you to get the kill. So now, the next thing you quickly do is you decide, are you going to use the iron sights, which the Razorback actually has pretty good iron sights, or are you going to use a sight? Now, there's some people who, especially if you're trying to get your aim up, sometimes using a sight can help you if you have trouble to aim, Usually the best two sights in the game would probably be ELO or Reflex, just because they're very simple sights. So I'll show you with a Reflex sight, even though I never really use that. The next thing you do is you ask yourself, what are the issues a weapon has, and how can the attachments you use help fix those problems, right? So, for example, one of the biggest issues with the Razorback is that it has a slow time to kill, right? So, to help fix the fact that it has a bit of a slower time to kill, you can add something like rapid fire, okay? That's just an example. This is just how your mind should work. Then the next thing you say is, okay, does the Razorback have a lot of bullets? No, it does not have a lot of bullets. You know what I mean? So we can solve that by using something like extended mags. Extended mags can solve that, or you can use fast mags. Now, fast mags is beneficial because fast mags helps you reload faster, but then it doesn't solve the bullet problem. So you would still need to use scavengers so you have a way to get bullets. Now, in this particular case, the reason why I don't think scavenger is a good idea, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of the fact that we may want to use fast hands. And the reason why I say this is because of the weapons, like the Razorbacks has a bit of a slower time to kill. Whenever you see someone, you want to be able to start aiming and shooting them as fast as possible to kind of help fix the fact that it takes a little bit longer to kill. So in this case, I would think that we may want to go with extended mags. And the next thing we do is we put fast hands. Fast hands is a great perk because it helps you get your gun up faster, which helps you kill faster before your enemies, which you're starting on target. Next, we're going to put in things that I consider essential. Awareness is something that I always use because, okay, like you take, for example, if this was real life, right, you have the ability to hear what's going on around you. So that's a natural thing that you have as a human being. If you don't use awareness, that's like going into combat in real life and being deaf. You know what I mean? Why would you want yourself to be deaf? That doesn't make any sense. And don't worry about what people tell you, because when you're playing something to be the best, you don't concern yourself with what people tell you. You act like you're a special force soldier. You know what I mean? So when you get a soldier who's in the special forces, what does he do? He gets the best weapons, the best equipment, the best bulletproof vest, the best gear, the best information. And on top of that, he wants as much information as possible. You get what I'm saying? Special force units don't say, oh, well, you know something, I'm not going to use a suppressor because that would make me a pussy. They don't give a shit about that. They're going to use whatever it takes to kill, to win the war. You get what I'm saying? So that when you play this game, think like that. Think like, okay, this is a war, I got to win it. Dead silence and awareness is a frequent combination that's used, so that's just obvious. And again, a lot of times for people who are just starting out, Sixth Sense is a powerful tool because once again, it increases your awareness of your environment. It gives you information. That's called intelligence. And the more intelligence you receive, the more powerful your ability to win the war becomes, if that makes sense, okay? Now we have, as you can see, we have 9 out of 10 points. So here's where we make a decision what we're going to lose last. And most likely, you can use a pistol as a second. This is just something I'm just throwing together just to give you an example. You know, use something like a Marshall, you know, to quickly destroy somebody if you get into a close range situation. And that's going to be the setup here. Now we'll rename this class. We'll name this class Tutorial. Boom. If this game decides to save it, which it does. Okay, now, here's the very next thing we're going to do, right? Now, look at this same setup that we did right here, except here's the adjustments we're going to make. What you do is you have to also make classes based on the situation. So what happens if you go into the match, you load into a match, and the enemies have score streaks, right? And they're dropping wraths and, you know, freaking raps and wraiths and all this other kind of stuff. You need to adjust your class based on that circumstance. So here we put Blind Eye and Cold-Blooded. That's basically going to negate all your enemy's score streaks. We take out Awareness. And the only reason why we're taking out Awareness is because you can still kind of hear without Awareness. But Dead Silence, you don't want enemies to be able to hear you. So I would consider that more important for me to keep. We put the Extended Mags. We put the Rapid Fire. Okay, that leaves us with a few more attachments. We put our Reflex back on. Now we have space for 2 more things. We put our Fast Hands back, and then that leaves us with 1 slot, and then we put back on our Marshals. This class is what we're going to switch to in case the enemies get score streaks. So it's still similar to what we had before, but we lose Sixth Sense, we lose Awareness, but we don't keep dying to streaks, which we don't want to do. And then you name it something that you're going to remember. So I named that Score Block. Okay, so beautiful. Alright, so now we're gonna attempt to get a quick match. So hopefully I can demonstrate a decent gameplay. Now I'm not gonna play how I normally would play because I'm gonna attempt to kind of give some thought process to what I'm doing so you guys understand what I'm doing. And I'm gonna try to talk quickly as I'm going about my actions. I'm a fast-paced player. I like playing very fast. But also keep in mind that I know that oftentimes my playing so fast gets me into really bad situations where I get killed very, very frequently. That is a bad habit that I myself have that I have to keep practicing to stop doing. Sometimes speed is good, but there are many occasions when the speed will get you in trouble. So here we go. We're at Redwood. So the first thought that comes into my mind, okay, Redwood, long range map, okay? Where's the power position? That little center house that's in the middle of the map. Everybody rushes to get there, okay? I don't like going in there because I know that's a death zone. Most of the time you go in there, eventually, the longer you stay there, you will eventually die, okay? Look at the enemy. Do we have any hives? You look at the specialists that you're going to go against, so think about it. If there were a lot of rippers, what would you do? Be careful if you're going into a close area. All right, now the match just started, right? Look at the mini-map, for example, right? Now you notice, where's all my team? All the way on this side. Now we know this is a comedy. And now what did I just do, right? I continued aiming down sights. Now look where my team is, right? They spawned behind me now. See? Now it's only because I took that quick second to explain what I was doing. That guy saw me because he saw me turning around. But you see what I'm saying? I took out those two guys very easily because of the fact that I knew that sometimes people now I see my teammate push down center, right? Now watch them in area over here real quick. You don't want to stay here too long. Okay, now that guy went out, right? Now watch, my teammate got killed this high, so I'm gonna pre-aim this, right? Now, unfortunately, he had a shotgun, okay? So sometimes there's some situations where there's not much you can do in those events. Now, you see how I quickly analyze that situation, switched on my marshals? Sometimes you gotta quickly think. Now, remember, I can't push this, do as fast. I'm trying to slow it down a little bit. Oh, that's a friend. Now, we come down here, we push a little bit and aim and see what's going on here, but be careful. Now, look, my teammates are spawning in back of me, right? And I see a teammate on the bridge. Now, I also know that they got a UAV. And notice, all my team is pushing far down. Now, what do you notice will happen, right? Enemy's gonna spawn back here. Now, let's see. Now, my team's just spawned over here. Now, here, you let one teammate go forward. Because you see, they're very aggressive, that teammate. But now, you see right there, perfect example. Why did I die? Because what are we using? A Razorback against a VMP. That was a bad situation. Now, there's another guy straight ahead, right? Now, quickly check here real quick, right? Now, I notice that there's somebody in the house here, but we want to be careful how we approach. Pre-aim. Now, his buddy ran out the window. There were two of them. Now, analyze. Now, watch. Now, we don't stay too long. You put a few shots. Notice I can't get the kill. Now, the teammates got somebody with a dart. Oh, wait. Have patience. Now, we see somebody right there. Okay, now the bridge is a common place for enemies, right? Now watch that wall run there. Now you see, look where my teammate just spawned. So now I know that there's probably could be a flip. See? You see? Damn it. That was a shotgun. That was unfortunate. Okay, so you see sometimes you have multiple people ahead of you, right? Now you notice that little. Now watch, they're coming from behind. Now watch. Patience. See, that was unfortunate right there. Now, you see, we're doing good as a team. Now, watch. You pre-aim here. Now, come up here. Pre-aim. Pre-aim. Pre-aim, right? Now, we check over here. Pre-aim. Now, you can see now, look. You see my team's on the other side. So, now my enemy might be spawning. And you forget about that guy that spawned here. They can still be pushing here. Watch. Reload real quick. Behind the cover of the tree, you see? I don't reload out in the open because somebody can quickly follow up and try to kill me. Now watch. Now teammates, you see they're all going to be aggressive. They're going to push that way. Now I jump over this. Why? Because I see a bunch of my team here, right? Plus I see, what do you call it? A remote control car. So I know that they can't push that way. Now watch. I come back here. I'm watching. This bridge is very popular. So now we can push. Now remember, this bridge is considered a death zone. This is a very common area to die because people are always pushing here. Now you see they're spawning the team there, so I'm gonna push forward a little bit more. So I see a lot of activity, but we gotta aim, we gotta be careful. Now you see. Now here we watch, careful. Now notice. Now run, quick. Now we expose ourselves. Notice I missed some shots, right? Once you miss shots like that, don't stay in your position because the enemy will wait for you. Now watch. Now we just saw my teammate. Look at those skulls. You see those skulls? I might die here though to those lightning strikes. Now be careful. Now I know over there is some danger. So sometimes, you see it looks skulls there too. Now watch. Okay. Now we know there's some danger. Okay, now be careful again. Now listen up, listen up. Now you see I'm pushing back here? I'm retreating. Sometimes when you come, you gotta look at your position. Think about what the enemy's gonna do. Notice where my teammates are. So I'll keep looking for the... You see? Just like that. Now quickly UAV. But you use your streaks while you're on the move. Now watch here, you see? Slowing it down. Now look at where they are. Look where they're coming from. Look at my teammate. Look where she is, right? She's down that little alleyway watching it. See? Still, look. But she's not pushing forward. She's not being aggressive. See, this is something I tell you that sometimes when you're not being... See? Sometimes you got to be a little bit aggressive with the things that you're doing. You see? But now look at my... Now, imagine I'm running a much slower game. But you can just see that much of what I did, there was nothing very advanced in. A lot of it was just me thinking about what I'm doing as I'm talking to you guys and explaining my actions. You get what I'm saying? And if I would have been more aggressive, or if I had a more aggressive weapon, I would have been able to perhaps push even more. You understand that? But even look at the results. If you do exactly what I did, what are you going to end up with? A 3.8 KD gameplay, you know? And that's just simply from thinking. And also keep in mind that an SMG is not best suited for the map that we're in. So with that in mind, you must consider that you're in an environment that's not best for the weapon that you're using. So what you do is you can still do good, but you have to think, okay, in what scenario would I be at a disadvantage? As an example, the bridge. If you go to one side of the bridge and an enemy sees you at the opposite end. Now, I have the Razorback and they have, say, for example, the KN-44. There's a high chance that they're going to kill me. Not even because that they're better, but just because at that range, it would take them less bullets to kill me than it would take me to kill them at that same range, if that makes sense. Okay, so we'll get into another gameplay here. Now, Combine's a very popular map. Now, you see, again, you can do an analysis. Like, okay, we know that Combine is a tight map, right? So we can quickly go here and say, okay, well, what can we adjust? We can remove these two sites and, for example, put a suppressor. Why? There's a common habit in Combine for a lot of enemies to like traveling very close together. Now, in addition to this, Combine is a closer range map. So because it is a closer range map, we have the benefit that the penalty to our range that a suppressor would give us will not hurt us so bad because we're on a tighter Get what I'm saying? And at the same time, because we are at a disadvantage bullet wise, because the Razorback doesn't have a very fast time to kill, the suppressor could give us that element of surprise. So that way, if we're in a situation where we have to kill more than one person, because they will not be specifically aware of where we are because we don't show up on a minimap, that may give us just enough time, if we react quickly enough, to be able to win a gunfight. And again, also another thing to remember, that a lot of these situations also depends on your teammate. There's a lot of things to consider. Teammates, analyzing, all these things, you know. But eventually, in the right situation, if you keep the right mindset, you can do well even with poor teammates. Now here we decide where we're going to rush. We're not going to rush down the middle. Sometimes I do that, but we're going to play it safe. So here we do a quick slide. And this slide movement is just something you practice. You know, it's not very difficult to do. You just got to practice it. Do a quick peek here. Now, I think I saw someone, and you see I was right. Watch. Patient. You see? You see? Patient. Now. Now, right there, I messed up because I should have just stopped off I should have just stopped off my attack, but I was so busy trying to give a little explanation of how the 6 inches helped me. I see, we get to aim. You pre-aim things. Corner. Now, enemies. Look, come here. Now, this is what's called taking them out by angles, right? Now he's using a shotgun. You see, sometimes these guys, now I noticed he wasn't using a shotgun before, but sometimes they get frustrated when they see their matches not going their way. Now here, be careful, because that same guy. Now be careful here. Now we gotta be careful. This is a dangerous position we're in right now, so we gotta keep constantly checking. I'm gonna rush quickly here. Now you constantly watching. Now you see disadvantage for him, right? Be careful, because the guy was right up there. Retreat right away. Alright, quickly. Sometimes you gotta learn when to retreat. Now that was a bit hectic. Watch. UAV. Head glitch. Now you see, just being calm. Watch. Back up behind cover. Now you see right there, it's time to retreat. We retreat. Why? Because now the enemy know where we are. We missed our shot, so they can come. Now notice. Now watch. You see? Notice. You see? Now watch. Be careful. Be ready. Steady. Steady. Put the Wraith quick. Steady. You see? Very steady. 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 Now notice I have no gun, right? No weapon. Now what do? Wraps. You see, easy wraps. Look at this. You see what I'm saying? And all of this is just simply from thinking, being calm. The only problem now, I don't have a weapon. That's my only problem. Oh, I have my weapon, but now you see, look at that guy. Now that guy, you know he just saw me. We can't assume. Now look, sometimes you got to use your teammates, right? Now watch, my teammate's going to push up. And now we got to see if we can get a weapon quickly. The Wraith probably took him out. Now we take this KVK, okay? And that's another thing too. It's important to have a good balance of weapon knowledge. If you're somebody who all you do is use SMGs, you won't know how to use anything else, you know? Now, I'm not saying I use everything, but I get a little practice. Now, see, aim. Now, you see, you got to be careful here. Now, when this happens, the enemies start going crazy because there's wraps. So they start doing strange things, like hiding on top of buildings. and looking for strange places to protect themselves. So don't think just because you got the streaks that everything's all safe, you know? Look where your wraps are. Imagine the wraps are like little people. Now back up. See? See, now the wrap got him. But you see, sometimes don't be afraid. Let's see if he challenges. No, he didn't challenge. Now watch this one. Sometimes you do this, you see? Now some people say, oh my God, look what he's doing. But look, this is strategy. Now look, he come back here. Let's see what he does. Patience, patience. But remember, don't have too much patience though, you know? See, and then unfortunately, you know, you die. You can't win every fight, you know? But remember, that's what I told you about being sometimes aggressive. You wait sometimes, but then you don't want to wait too long. You don't want to be a camper. Patience, you see? Head glitch. Now, we know these guys are gonna come. Watch. Watch. Oh, so one of our teammates cleaned them up. Okay, so that's our teammates get them there. Now again, head glitch. Watch. See, just patience. Slide behind here. Because where are they gonna come out? From there, right? Corner. Now watch you here. I can hear them coming. And that's it. So you see 35 and 3. And all that is just from analyzing. Believe me, I didn't really do anything too much special, just from thinking carefully about the situation and just considering my actions, you know? And the other very, very important thing is, whenever there's a lot of pressure and enemies, you be very calm. You know, there's no reason for you to get yourself excited because you see so many people coming at you. You just think about, in this situation, what is the best thing for me to do? But you have to have confidence. You don't delay. And as long as you have confidence and you think about all the little basic principles and you put them together, you can do good in any gameplay. So now, that's it. I'm going to the gym. Thank you all. Have a pleasant day.